Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cruising with Doc Speed. I'm your host and Whips Wheel staff writer, Dr. Dante Santone. The goal of this channel is to give you some insight into the classic car world. Today we'll be hanging around in downtown Andover, Massachusetts for the Andover Firefighters Show and Shine. So come on, let's cruise. We're here with Leland D'Amico, who is right from here in Andover, Massachusetts. Leland, this is your 1967 Eleanor recreation here. How long have you had this?
I purchased it in 2018.
Where'd you find this?
I found it online. I've been searching for years. A guy put it on consignment. He was a former NFL player, Amon Green, from the Green Bay Packers. He's a running back. He had a collection of Mustangs. This was one of his cars that he could not get around to finishing, so he put it up in consignment, and when I found it, I purchased it immediately.
That's amazing. So it's got a little bit of pedigree and history with it. What did it start out life as? What type of model?
It was a GT500.
It started as a GT500?
It started as a GT500. From what I understood, the history on it, the original engine blew on it. So when Amon found it, he wound up retrofitting it and putting in a fuel-injected Cobra motor into it.
Nice. So, how many miles have you put on this thing since you've had her?
Maybe about 5,000.
That's not bad, though. That's not bad. You see a lot of these cars that get out there and like, I've put like 500 miles in the last 5 years, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. I like to drive it. I mean, my kids love driving it. My wife even drives it. So, I enjoy looking at it in the garage, but I love driving it on the road much more. So,
well, she sure does shine, and this is the Andover Firefighters Show and Shine. So we are here for the right thing. Yeah. You know what, Leland? It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
She's beautiful. Happy motoring. We're here with Nick Cincotti and his absolutely amazing 1969, very custom Chevelle Yanko reproduction. Nick, how long have you had this baby?
I've only had the car for maybe 2-3 years, but since I've owned it, we've gone through the entire car and resto-modded it to what you see today.
This is incredible because you look under the hood and you go, this is not exactly a stock 1969 Chevy, either small block or big block. What is that engine?
That's an LSA engine, which is a 6.2 supercharged engine, which you might have seen in a Z06 or a CTSV even from Cadillac.
The Cadillacs had those, yeah. That's amazing. What's it cranking out for horsepower?
Probably about 700.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What's the transmission in this thing?
It's a 4L80 that we had done up at Horsepower Farm in New Hampshire.
We know those guys. Yep. Great guys.
Yep, Rick Serino, good dude. Yep. He tuned the car, as a matter of fact, when it was all done.
Yeah, you went to a good place there.
Yes. Precision Industries actually installed the motor for me. So it's been done over the winter, really. And then Automotion and Billerica did a whole chassis for me. We did a complete ride tech suspension, big brakes.
Yeah, so it's a resto mod.
Yeah.
This color, what is this color called?
So I don't know the name of the color. Believe it or not, I bought it from Evan Rowan Auto Works, who had the car prior to me. So I don't even know what the color is, but it is a very cool burnt orange.
It really is. I mean, it stands out. We saw you guys pulling in a parade, sort of, and I said, that one stands out. We're going to go talk to that gentleman. Yeah. Any more plans for this?
No, this one is about done. I have others that I'm working on, but this one is pretty much perfect for now.
So you have others you're working on?
I have a bunch of other cars, yes.
Yeah, we know that story. It's a very common tale. Nick, it was very nice meeting you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Great. Thank you for bringing her. She's
Absolutely.
Beautiful. And we'll see you on the road.
All right.
Hi, we're here with Joe Aroni and his absolutely amazing 1970 Shelby GT500 Super Cobra Jet. Joe, how long have you had this car?
I've found this car in the woods 2 years ago, and since then been restoring it so I can drive it.
You told me there was a story with this car. Oh, yeah. You found it in the woods?
It was in the lady's house in her backyard. It had been sitting since 1977 under a tarp. Engine was seized. Looks just like you see it today, except, me cleaning it and restoring it and getting the engine rebuilt.
I like the fact that you left it original looking. It's got that great, as we call it, patina. But I'm telling you, to let a car, to let this amazing engine seize up, that was a shame. Thank thank goodness you came along to rescue it.
Right? Yeah, it was pretty rough. So I've been through the whole car, and now it's a driver. My dream was to drive it.
How long have you wanted one of these babies?
Oh, anybody that's a muscle car fan loves a Shelby.
Thank you. That's the right answer, by the way. So we talked about this Super Cobra Jet engine. What's the cubic inch on that?
So the Super Cobra Jet is a 428 4-barrel carburetor, and the Super Cobra Jet actually has more metal in the engine. It has some different Le Mans rods in it, and that's what makes it the Super Cobra Jet. So it's built for power.
It's very heavy duty.
Heavy duty.
Now, what was the rating back then on the horsepower?
335 was the horsepower, and the torque was right around 400.
335. Are we going to laugh at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's up to about 375 and 475 on the torque.
Well, even then, I think they underrated them anyway.
Yeah, I was told that as well.
Especially by 70. By 70, the insurance companies were starting to play games with us, right? So they would underrate them. But you know what? I wish I could have heard you pulling in. I bet it sounds great.
Yes, it does. It sounds awesome. A special exhaust with the rear outlets. It's really cool, man.
She's amazing. You know what? I saw this car. I said, this car's got some history. We're going to have to stop and chat.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for talking with us.
We love Whips Wheels.
Thank you very much. We love you guys too. Hi, we're here with Craig Farnsworth with his 1972 GMC C15, or as we like to call him, a Jimmy.
Yes.
Craig, how long have you had this car?
I've had this truck probably 2.5 years now. I got the truck out of Pelham, New Hampshire.
Okay, it's a truck, right? Yes. So we're pretty low to the ground here. What's going on underneath here?
So running full air ride suspension, airbags, all four wheels. It's got 2-inch drop spindles up front. It's got like a 6-inch step notch all cut into the rear of the frame, so you're just about catching the rockers on the tops of your toes.
Oh, that's always fun. Yeah, watch out for speed bumps, right? Yeah. Anyway, do you use her as a truck?
Yes, Home Depot trips to the dump. They drive it and use it as a truck.
That's perfect. That's perfect. She's a truck. She wants to live as a truck. Yeah. What's next for her?
Honestly, I'm the type of person, once I build them and they're done, it's going to be for sale. It's a terrible trait I have, but I'm already looking at another one, probably late 70s square body, but I'm just enjoying this one. It's a driver, goes down the road like a Cadillac, and full modern drivetrain underneath. And
what is the engine here?
2005 GM LS Vortec 6-liter with the 4L80 2-speed transmission.
A little more reliable than the original motor, I assume.
Get in and go.
Thank you. That is the one thing about modern cars that, we do, even classic car guys like us, we appreciate that. You get in, start them, they go.
That's it. There's no, pumping the choke or worrying about this or that. It starts like a regular truck and you just take off and go.
That's beer. That's the best of both worlds. Craig, so nice talking to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. I got Bob Enos here with his absolutely amazing 1954 pennant blue Chevrolet Corvette. Bob, this thing is absolutely amazing. How long have you owned this?
A little over a year now. I recently I had a 62 Corvette for probably about 7-8 years, and then I ended up finding this one down in Connecticut. I actually bought it from Wayne Carini. He bought it at an estate sale, and then I ended up grabbing it from him a little over a year ago. So, yeah.
These things are amazing. This is what started it all.
Yep.
The previous year, 1953, was the first year they built 300, all hand-built, right?
Yep.
Out of Flint, Michigan. This was the first year they built them at that venerable St. Louis plant, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. So that year, the first year they built 300, like you said. This year they built about 3,600 of them. And about 3,300 were white. About 300 of them were the pennant blue. Another 40 or so were red, and then I think they had like 4 or 6 black ones. So
yeah, and not a very common color.
No.
But
the interior, like this here, they have the pennant blue on the interior. It's the tan interior. All the other ones had red interior, and then they had the red and white, and then the black top. But this one here, they went with the tan interior and then the tan top. I love the color combination.
So somebody, when they checked off all the boxes, they were very particular about the color combination they wanted back in 1954.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You could order the car. And even back in 1954, the car was, it was a Corvette, but it wasn't a big seller. And a lot of these cars, when they went to the dealerships, they weren't selling because people didn't want to spend the money on the car. It was about $3,200. And actually, when they marked it on the sticker on the window, they put it down to like $2,700, and they gave you an option for transmission. And I think the other one was like a heater or something like that. So the real price was $3,200, but they were selling them at the end of the year. The dealerships were selling them at a loss.
I'm sure they were. This was a halo car just to get some notoriety for Chevrolet, really. And, of course, they weren't even sure they were going to continue the Corvette at that time. But anyway, this engine, that's got to be the amazing Blue Flame 6, right?
That's correct. It's a Blue Flame 6, six-cylinder, straight six-cylinder. Thing runs, I mean, it almost sounds like a Singer sewing machine. But the thing just runs and just runs. I mean, it drives beautifully. I've driven it, an hour to a car show and no issues with the car.
Well, that was a workhorse engine for Chevrolet. I mean, that was basically a modified truck engine.
That's right. That's right. So they used them a lot in trucks, and a lot of people, if they did blow their engine, they would replace the engine with a truck engine. But earlier in the year, in '53 as well, they had three. They call them bullet, air cleaners off of the carburetors. And then about mid-year in '54, they changed it, manifolded it, and then they put the two air cleaners that you see in the car.
So that's one way to tell it's a later in the production run engine.
Mid to late '54 would have the two air cleaners as opposed to the bullets.
How's she drive?
Oh, it drives unbelievable. It's straight. I mean, you get going. It just keeps going, and it just with the solid axle. I don't mind it. People like the independent rear suspension, but I like the solid axle cars. And
well, I mean, this whole first generation was solid axle. We didn't get it till C2 in '63.
That's correct. So that's when the first year for the independent rear suspension. But I like the solid axle. The thing runs straight, and it's just a beautiful ride.
And nobody ever not looks at it, right? Yeah.
I get a lot of looks, a lot of thumbs up when I'm driving. It's just a pleasure to drive.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Like I said, I'm a Corvette guy. Yeah. I'm glad you brought her. It's nice talking to you. You have a great time. Enjoy the show. I have here Larry Chapper and his very rare. Honestly, Larry, I have never seen one of these except in pictures. What are we looking at here?
1971 TVR Vixen 2500.
And where did these cars come from?
Blackpool, England.
Blackpool, England. How long have you had this?
About 15 years.
15 years, so just a couple of days, huh?
Yeah, this car came out of Michigan. It was it was found in a storage shed, and when it was found, it only had 12,000 miles. So it's all original paint.
Original paint? What else?
As oxidized as it is, original paint, yes.
It's actually held up pretty well. What else is original on it?
Every part of the car is original. The only thing that I changed is I put an oil cooler on it, and everything else is original.
And what is the engine on these?
It's a straight six, 2.5 liter straight six.
That was big for a British car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something else you told me, actually. The headlights are original?
Everything is original.
That's crazy. Normally, you'd think these headlights would have burned out at some point.
Yeah, no, those are the original headlights. So.
Of course, we don't drive at night, evidently, especially in England.
Yeah, they're the original Lucas headlights, so it's kind of fun.
That's amazing. So what else have you done with her?
Just, drive it to car shows, cars and coffees, just enjoy it. It used to be a hill climb car. The original owner used to do some hill climb events, hence the numbers on it. That's the way we found it. But I haven't raced it at all, but it's a very fun car.
You're not going to go out and do a hill climbing event tomorrow with this?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'll tell you, Larry, these are amazing. Like I said, I've never seen one. I've heard of them, seen them in magazines, I've seen them in books. This is the first time I've run into one, and I've been covering car shows for 10 years or better at this point. So thank you for bringing her out. She's amazing, and happy motoring.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Next, we have Brian McNally with his 1970 Dodge Challenger 446 pack. What else do we call this car?
4-speed with a shaker.
With a shaker. Okay, tell everyone the color, because I love the name of
this is a plum crazy purple Challenger.
You know what? They stand. I mean, every time you see one of these, listen, all the car guys knows it's plum crazy purple. But
everybody's favorite color.
It really is. That and B5 blue are probably my two favorites.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, you can see they've reproduced it, years later. It's just such a nice color. I've had this car for 20 years, and I drove it for about 15 years, and then I put it away, and I just did a 3-year restoration on it, pretty much a driver restoration. It's it's not perfect, but I'm comfortable driving it anywhere. And
well, that's actually the best of both worlds.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I tend to go that way because you want them drivable. You don't want to be worrying about them all the time, but you want to enjoy it.
Oh, I worry about it, but I still have fun. So
you don't want to worry about it too much. Like, oh my God, was that a rock? Yeah.
No. And it started raining earlier today, and I was okay with that. So.
Really? Well, you're better than me. I don't even want to take out my regular car when it rains. But anyway, so you've had it 20 years. Where'd you find it?
I actually bought it from a friend of mine. He bought it to flip it, and he knew I wanted it, so he was nice enough to sell it to me. And I had 3 little kids, and it sat for years, and it just became not disrepair, but it needed too much work, and I put it away, telling myself someday I'm going to restore it. And 20-something years later, I still have it, and
I'm glad you're not one of those that you bought it and then 60 years later somebody finds it in the barn.
Oh, no, and I tell my kids, I have 3 boys, and I said one of them's going to have it because I'm not getting rid of it. So
Keep it in the family.
keep it in the family.
What was it about this car that drew you to it?
So when I was a little kid, I was born in '66, and I want to say I was probably like 7 years old. So it was early '70s. My neighbor had a Challenger. Okay.
Why do I know this story, right?
I remember going to bed at night and hearing his car pull in, and I would get up and I'd look out the window and I'd see this. I want to say it was a 71 or 72 Challenger. And ever since then, I've been fixated on them. It's my earliest recollection of being into muscle cars.
Right. There's always something like that.
It triggers me. And,
Whether
I'm 58 years old now, and and that much, that.
Yeah, the one car I don't have, and I've been fixated on. So, like you, my next door neighbor had a 70 Cougar, dark blue with a black vinyl roof. Love that car, and I don't have one. I've never had one, but every time I see one, I go, I gotta get one of those.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, it just sticks in your head.
Yes, absolutely. So,
I tell you, Brian, she's beautiful. I'm telling you, driver quality, nothing. This car is spectacular.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for talking with us.
Take care.
Hi, we're here with Don Roberts with his absolutely stunning 1955 Chevy Nomad. Don, how long have you had this car?
We've had this car 15 years. It was our 25th wedding anniversary to both my wife and myself. We bought it as an anniversary present.
All right, now that's a great story. Did you find her like this, or did you have to do any work?
We bought it the way you see it, but like everything else, I've done 1,000 things to it to make it better.
Yeah, there's always something. Just when you think these cars are done, they turn around and go, no, I got a couple more things for you here, buddy.
These cars are never done, so.
No, I don't think they were done when they were new. But anyway, these Nomads, they're rare.
This is one of originally 8,542 that were produced in 1955. And I don't know how many are left, but this is one of them, so.
And is this the original color?
It's a little bit darker than the original color. All the Nomads had a cream color roof with a color bottom, but this one's a little bit different.
Do you think that was factory was done that way, or somebody came along and decided they wanted all one color?
No, when the car was done over 35 years ago, it was changed to one color.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've seen this car at many car shows. I recognized your plate. I said, but I've never had a chance to talk to you. And all the years I've been covering car shows, I said, today's the day. And there's a very nice lady sitting behind the car that told me that. I hope you have plenty of battery power, because he's going to talk your ears off about this car. Tell me about the engine. Tell me about the drivetrain. Is it original?
No, it's a 1974 Chevrolet, 350 cubic inch, a turbo 350 transmission. Stock Chevrolet rear end with a 336 gear, and it cruises at about 75 with the air on.
That's nice. So this probably would have had, if it was a V8, well, it was a V8, 265?
This came with a 265 originally and a 2-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah, that was very, very typical of those days, and that was a nice little setup. But this is much better, much more drivable.
It was a great setup then. We have made it better with all the technology, and we've just done a great deal of updates with new front end parts, new steering boxes. Mm-hmm. Again, try to get this thing to go down the road almost as good as our Tahoe. So,
have you converted the brakes?
Oh yeah, disc brakes in the front, drum in the rear.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Good move.
Yep.
Yeah, you always want to be able to stop as quickly as you can go, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I've learned the hard way. Drum brakes, not really the way to stay with.
Yep, absolutely correct.
I tell you what, though, Don, thank you. I've always loved this color. I've always loved this car every time I've seen it. I'm glad I finally got to chat with you. Thanks for taking the time.
Sincerely, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So Walter Mashel cruised in his beautiful 1936 Chevrolet pickup. Walter, I was chatting with you for a couple of minutes before we went on camera here, and you were telling me about your history and why you ended up with this truck. Please tell the audience.
Yeah, well, I had cancer in 1999. I was treated at Mass General with the chemo, and I'd come home and I asked myself this question: am I going to sit in a chair and think about this cancer, or am I going to set a goal? So what I did was I set the goal to beat the cancer, finish the truck, and go to a show. So I went up on the Mohawk Trail to the largest Chevy club, and I got first prize. So then AAA called. It says, not me, but they said, just tell us a classic story. I mean, a story about your classic vehicle. Sure. So I wrote down what I just said, sent it to them, and they put me on the front page of AAA, and they gave me $200 and asked me if they could take a picture at the Tewksbury grounds. So that's the history.
And now you're hooked.
No, I'm hooked.
Attaboy.
I'm 90 years old. I probably won't be driving much longer, so I'm getting it all in.
Don't sell yourself short. You're going to be around for quite a while.
Yeah.
Hi, we're here with Ms. Julia Beninato and her very, very rare 1970 Volkswagen bus. Julia, how long have you had this van?
I've had this van for about 4 years.
Has it been 4 years?
Yeah, 2020.
Where did you find this magnificent machine?
This lovely, kind gentleman told me that he would help me find my dream van.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming back to you.
I thought it looked familiar.
Yeah, I know. You deal with many cars, so I just have gone right into the back of your mind. But
I'll tell you, this is one that I got it. We found it for you because you wanted one of these. Your dad came to me and said, you need to find my daughter a good van because a lot of these are not in great shape. This is the one vehicle I sold that I wish I could have kept, but you really want it, so I said, okay, you're gonna have it.
I know. I remember you saying, it's okay if you don't want to buy it. I can just sell it to someone else. I was like, no, I'm getting it.
Or secretly, I was thinking, I'll just keep her for myself.
Crossing the fingers.
Now, you get a lot of attention in this, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, they stand out.
Brings a lot of happiness to myself and others.
Yes, I'm sure it does. I saw the little accoutrements you've put inside since you acquired it from me.
Decorations.
Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Great story. We were stopped in one day at a light before you bought it, and a gentleman was in a rather exotic European sports car. I won't say the brand, but he was stopped next to us, and everybody that came around the corner stopped and looked over this multi six-figure sports car and said, "Nice van."
It's awesome.
You get that a lot, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm so glad you bought this van from me because you've done so many nice things. What you've done in the interior, what you've done with the wheels.
It's been a lot of fun. I love it.
You know what? It's great because a lot of your generation, they don't really care about these old cars.
No. And a lot of people, when I drive it with family, friends, stuff like that, the main people they look at are the older people thinking it's theirs. So, but it's not regular for someone my age to have a vintage car, so I get it.
Yeah, vintage that's not power steering, not power brakes, and not an automatic. With a very sloppy shifter, because that's how these all were.
Yep. Just redid the clutch last summer, so still getting used to that, but it's been good.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, these cars always need something anyway. If that's the only thing you need, you're doing pretty well. Yeah, it was a very well-sorted vehicle. I was very happy that we found this for you. This color is just killer. I don't know if this was the original color, but it is amazing. I don't know if it shows on camera, but that off-white top paint makes such a great combination. And you see so many of these butchered. This thing has a custom interior.
Yep.
Have you ever seen one like that?
I haven't, no.
I hadn't either. I think the previous owner had a boat company build the interior for this.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. A lot of the paperwork's still in there, as you know, obviously.
I was like, here, please take all the paperwork. This was a great find. I'm really happy you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're like an up-and-coming ambassador for the classic car culture.
Always. I love it.
So, and you know what? Happy motoring.